Harambee means let us come together. That's what it means. That no matter our differences, we are on one team. We are going to pull some love out of the air with our right hand. And we're going to shout Harambee 7 times until we no longer can. I don't care if you are short or tall. I don't care if you are big or small, red or blue, black or white, if you feel good or if you feel not so all right. Harambee means come together. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull, like I said, we're going to pull some love out of the air. So if you guys, this is serious, I want you to do this with me. Can we do this? Because I know there's a lot of love here and it's going to help us raise the vibration. Because when we celebrate Kwanzaa, one of the things we do, it's all about coming together. Some people do it different because in Kwanzaa, one of the principles is creativity, so we do it the way we want. But sometimes we hold each other's hands and we go like this, Harambee. But this way, I just want you to sit where you are and feel the love in the room and just go like this. And we're going to go Harambee and pull it to our heart. Harambee.
Harambee.
Like this? You got it? Okay. And we're going to do it 7 times. And when you can't, we're going to chant it until the breath of life is no longer there. And then when you can't chant it any longer, you just start clapping like this. Okay? So here we go. Harambee. 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 Okay, great. You guys did good. Better than I expected. Some of y'all got just a little bit left, life left. No, I feel it. Thank you so much. So that's Harambee. That's one of the chants that you might see during a Kwanzaa celebration. Another thing that you might hear is this question, a baragani, right? So what does a baragani mean? It means what is the news? So today, if I was to say a baragani, and so if there was someone who was very familiar with Kwanzaa, they would say Ujamaa. Ujamaa means cooperative economics. Today is day 4 in Kwanzaa. And what I want to do is just go over all of the principles with you all, and then we'll talk about the language, the colors, and the symbols. The first day, which is December 26th, the first day is unity. So you can repeat after me, and when I say unity, you say in Swahili, umoja. Umoja. Okay, so unity is umoja. So let me hear you say umoja.
Umoja.
Very good. Now, then you would light the second candle, which is self-determination. And we say, Kuji Chakalia. Kuji Chakalia. Yeah, that was fun to say. So we go from red to green. The third day is, you guys know this very well, collective work and responsibility. In Swahili, it's ujima. Ujima. The fourth day, which is today, December 29th, is Ujamaa. And Ujamaa is cooperative economics, so say Ujamaa. The fifth day is purpose. In Swahili, it's pronounced Nia. Because we all want to know our purpose. The sixth day is, ready? Creativity. You know I like that. You might have rolled this in Busch Gardens. It's called, in Swahili we call creativity kuumba. And the final day, which is on January 1st of every year, is Imani. So we go into the new year with a lot of faith. And faith is Imani, so say faith. Or, I'm sorry, say Imani. You know how to say faith, right? All right. So these are your 7 principles. These are the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. They are universal principles, as you can see. That means that we all love these principles, and we know that they all help create a better world. What is good for one people, if it is ethical in its grounding, is good for all people. And these are the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. In Kwanzaa, we call the 7 principles Nguzo Saba. And this, I'll go now through the colors and the symbols. And the colors are red, black, and green. The black stands for the people. Although we know that people of African descent come in different shades, but black is an all-encompassing color. So that is why that color was chosen. Red stands for the blood that was shed during the Middle Passage, and maybe possibly through chattel slavery or any slavery that may still exist today. And green stands for the land and the the land that the people want to restore. So these are your colors. I don't know how many people are familiar with Marcus Garvey, but Marcus Garvey created a flag, and this is an African American flag, or he would say possibly an African flag. And this has also the colors, so some of that comes from that tradition and honoring his legacy of what he left behind. So, if you guys didn't know, some of the Kwanzaa also means first in Swahili. And Swahili was chosen because that subculture in Africa was a very unified culture. They traded with a lot of different people, and they believed in we. So even though some people say a lot of African Americans came from the West Africa, they chose Swahili because of its significance and because it was a great. And Dr. Malana Karinga and the US organization were one of the first to introduce Kwanzaa to the world in 1966. It actually predates Black History Week, which was given to us by Dr. Carter G. Woodson. So in 1976, we were told that we were allowed to celebrate, or we officially were allowed to celebrate our culture and our history. So, but before that, African Americans were already doing that with Kwanzaa. And this is the first fruits. These are representative of the first fruits, because when you go around, even though this is an African American holiday, the fruits were to represent the first fruits of the harvest. So if you go around different cultures in Africa, you would see the first fruits of the harvest being a common theme. So what they do is they create, those who celebrate Kwanzaa will create a Kwanzaa table if they are into traditions and normally for me, I'm very more like to keep it simple, but I just want to be able to show you guys all of the different symbols that means different things for different people. Now, I don't have one here, but there's also the mazo. I won't go through all of the Swahili terms, but it gives us a way to also learn different, some African words to restore and reaffirm heritage. But the corn would represent future generations. You also have a unity cup. And this unity cup is for if you wanted to go around, because technically, because Anne had already spoke, I felt like she had already acknowledged me. But in Kwanzaa, one thing I like about Kwanzaa too is that it acknowledges our ancestors and our elders. So when you go into a ceremony, we have to ask permission from the oldest member. And I don't know if Anne obviously is probably not the oldest member in here, but I'm supposed to ask.
I'm the oldest.
I'm really supposed to ask the oldest member if I have permission to speak. So, do I have permission to continue, Jack?
You may proceed.
Thank you. So
Now, what would you do if he said no?
I would sit down because I am not approved by the eldest member.
Should I say no in a short meeting?
So that is one of the things I also love about Kwanzaa, because it just felt right to me that that we would give that type of respect to those who come before us. And so you will see during a libation ceremony, or some people will consider a toast, because some people do Kwanzaa different ways. It is not a religious holiday, but libation does come from a Yoruban tradition of, I don't know if you've ever heard of, like, some people just pour out libation, or water into maybe a plant. You might see them do that, and they say they will go through the name of different ancestors that have passed, that we want to acknowledge, and maybe someone in your personal family who just passed. And we're giving that time. This is another opportunity for us to give that time to acknowledge them in the circle, in the family. Even if it is someone in the community who had just passed, then this would be the time we would say that. And we would say their names, and then we would say Ashe. Ashe means so let it be, and we're with the God and the power within, and so it is. So that is that translation. So you will hear me say Ashe a little bit. Did anybody hear me on the CD as you were coming in? That I have a CD called Kwanzaa 7 Days, 7 Principles. So you will hear a lot of me saying Ashe through that, because it's kind of almost like Amen at the end of each prayer, or at the end of each affirmation. I think I went over, there is a foundation, which is the mat. And if you want to learn a little bit more, I was touring last year with M.K. Asante Jr. There is a film out about Kwanzaa, if you would like to, if seeing is believing, and you can see a lot of people celebrating Kwanzaa around the world. It's called The Black Candle, and it's narrated by Dr. Maya Angelou. Let's see. I'll take some questions down, and then I'll also share a poem with you all. I want to make sure I'm doing okay on time. Does anybody have any questions?
When you're lighting your candles, one of the things you mentioned was slavery. Is Kwanzaa doing anything about it? Stopping slavery in Africa? It still exists down there.
Yes, it still exists. Some people say we just call it human trafficking, even here sometimes. But what I want to say is that Kwanzaa is about the past, it's about the present, and it's about the future. What we do with these principles is, as I go through the principles one more time, and you can find more about it on Kwanzaa, the official website. It is celebrated by people of different ethnic backgrounds as well. And Dr. Malana Karinga didn't see it that way at the beginning, because we were going through such a turbulent time during the 60s. And some of you guys probably know a little bit better than I do what was going on. But it was birthed after the Watts riots and things like that. So there was a need for self-determination, defining oneself. So when it comes to slavery or things that are going on, that is why these principles are important, because collective work and responsibility speaks to that issue. The definitions in Kwanzaa for unity is need to strive and maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. Kujichagulia means self-determination, to define ourselves, to name ourselves, and create for ourselves and speak for ourselves. And know if you can do that, you have a less of an opportunity, or less likely to stay a slave, even if you become enslaved. Ujima, collective work and responsibility, is to build and maintain our community together and make our brothers and sisters' problems our own, and to help solve them together, which is what you guys do every day. So I thank you for that. Ujama is cooperative economics. It means to build and maintain our own stores and shops and other businesses, and to profit from them together. And as you know, because of some economic wars and things that have happened in the past, some African American buildings businesses were destroyed, and or because of racism and or discrimination. There still is a need to catch up. And so this cooperative economics speaks to that. But I personally believe that cooperative economics, which is today, is something that we all really need. The entire country needs cooperative economics right now. And that is why that is so important. Because we can remember that the future, even if as we're raising our young people, that the future is is bright when we can teach a young person or nurture a young person into entrepreneurship. NIA is purpose. It means to make our collective vocation in our communities important because we know who we are and we know our purpose in life. And I think everybody should play their position. Everybody's not supposed to be in grassroots or marching. Some people are supposed to be doing what I do, writing poems and reciting them. And other people are supposed to be doing a painting and or creating a new building structure. So those are the types of things going into creativity, to do as much as we can in the way we can in order to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than the way we inherited it. And last but not least, faith in Kwanzaa means to believe with all our heart in our people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, and believe in the victory of love. So I want you guys to know that I could be on here a long time really getting into the depths of Kwanzaa, but I know that's what I was here to do, is to talk about Kwanzaa. I would like to end, if it's okay, with a poem and an affirmation. So I will go ahead and just play a poem for you because I'm at 16 minutes right now, unless there's any other questions you might have.
Yeah, I have one more question.
Okay.
Everything you're talking about is opportunity.
Yes.
Equal opportunity for everyone. I mean, that's what you're talking about. And we all know that it starts with our kids. If we don't get our younger kids an education, a good education, then they're not going to have the opportunities that the kid that gets good education is going to have. I mean, they'll have equal opportunities, but they won't have the ability to take advantage of them. Are you doing anything at all in your community to work with? I mean, I'm a state legislator, and I work with Head Start. I work with preschool and all those school readiness programs, voluntary pre-K, funding fell under my committee last year. But there's only so much government can do.
Yes.
It really goes back to the family and the community
Yes.
of educating the children. And are you involved with Kwanzaa as you go on? It's great to have it during one part of the year. Is there any follow-on through the year of continuing to educate and help educate our children so that by the time they're ready to graduate from high school, the percentage of blacks and whites are equal?
Mm-hmm.
And that makes a huge difference. Hispanics, blacks, and whites, right now, the Hispanics and blacks are behind the whites.
Mm-hmm.
If they're all equal, then they all will, that whole percentage will have a better opportunity in the future.
I agree, and if you're asking me on a personal level, as she said when she was introducing me, I work with the Boys and Girls Club, so I'm doing that. But at the same time, we can be examples to our families of what to do. But everybody is, like I said before, everybody has their position to play. I don't necessarily have any children of my own. But I do know that it is important, exactly what you say, that we practice Kwanzaa 365. That's why I created this CD, which is Zawadi is what these gifts are. We don't do, in Kwanzaa, we don't do gifts that are just like a toy or whatever. Unless it has educational value or unless it has cultural value or cultural significance. Like, for example, this would be considered a zawadi, or if I created something that is going to instill pride, because we're really talking about a self-esteem issue sometimes with our young people, that they may not be getting a sense of pride for Africa, or they don't even want to be called African, even though, according to Malcolm X, he would say if you think you didn't leave anything in Africa behind, then obviously you left your mind. Okay, so the point is that we could talk about the N-word all day and things like that, but that type of mentality was created through history. And how do we restore that? We restore that with reaffirming heritage and names that were lost. So why not take on an African name if you didn't have it before? But first you have to take away the stigma. And what's unfortunate is that there's a lot of white people who know more African history than black people. But black people sometimes run away from it in all corners of the world because there's a lot of pain there, and there's a lot of I think for some people they don't want to learn about history. But we have to know where we've come from so that we can know where we're going, and we have to teach slavery. And I think everybody should go into a Holocaust museum even at a young age, because I think it would cure bullying. But I mean, those are just some of my thoughts. But I don't want to be up here forever. I feel so rushed, and I don't want to talk too long because I wanted to share a poem. And but thank you for your very valid question. And I do believe in celebrating Kwanzaa 365. That's why I put poems and affirmations, positive thinking, declaring what we want to be so for everyday living. Of course, that's not the whole title, but it's just Kwanzaa 7 days, poems and affirmations for everyday living. So it begins with a thought. So on that note, if you guys don't mind, I know you're very creative people, but I wanted to play. These are some proverbs from around the world, and then I'll end with
To raise a child. Nigeria. Self-determination. All that is in the heart is written on the face. South Africa. Collective work and responsibility. Many hands make light work. Tanzania. Cooperative economics. Water that has been begged for does not quench the thirst. Uganda. Purpose. The dog has 4 feet, but he does not walk them in 4 different roads. Haiti. Creativity. Human creativity itself is the image of God. The United States. Faith. Anticipate the good so that you may enjoy it. Ethiopia.
Okay, and I will end with this piece, which is definitely a self-determination piece and possibly a faith piece, because I am a spoken word artist, and this piece is called I Run. And although African people or people of African descent and anybody who celebrates Kwanzaa may come from different faith backgrounds, I happen to be a Christian, and this is a poem that I would do for you called I Run. I was born to run. The first time I kicked in the womb, my race had begun, and I am running. A temperature that will leave a blazing trail beneath my feet. And even if the rivers in my eyes turn cold, I have a promise to keep. I was told to run. So I don't walk, I run. I don't crawl, I run. I have come too far from where I started from, and it is time for me to run. The rays of the sun direct me to the harbor where I find energy for each one who suffers from the heat exhaust, from all of the pain in the purse, in the pocket, in the hearse, in the lock, and the key. And sometimes I trip over the hurdle, and the hurdle was me. And when you chant and cheer, I focus on the lighthearted, the beautiful and the divine, and I smile because I can see you standing by. I can see you coaching and counting your seconds in the palm of your hand, and as your thumb goes up and down, you will continue to stand, and I will run across country, and you will track my steps. I will lean into the wind and pace myself because it is a long stretch. And I'm thirsty for my last 100 meters, and I will drink the air that I breathe and listen for your desire with my eyes closed. I'll tighten the grip on this steel baton and dream of igniting your torch. I said I daydream of being the fire that rockets you to the moon. I will give you freedom in your left hand, and you will pass it on to the next man or the next woman who can. See the gates of heaven open. Hear the voice loud and clear. Well done. I need you to help me. I need you to help me. I need you to help me maintain the pathway for every lost daughter, for every lost son. Pick up this message. Please deliver this message and run. 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 Happy Kwanzaa.
Man, I got tears in my eyes.